Hi, I'm Derek Arcuri. In just a couple of minutes, I'm going to walk you through my typical Synergis pitch for someone that may not have heard of Genetec. So for a beginner. So I always like starting off with the challenges that we see every day with our customers. Starting off with a lot of, given the proprietary nature in the industry, a lot of our customers are getting into an end-of-life notice where they're forced into a forklift migration, meaning they have to remove all of their hardware from their installation, which can be very, very costly to rip down walls, replace all the wiring, controllers, and so on. So that's one challenge that we see with our organizations. Another is that access control on its own is no longer the solution to equip people to respond to threats. Bigger issues require more comprehensive strategy, and we don't think that integration is the approach forward. And also effectively balancing physical security with cyber threats is a conversation that many of our organizations are having, many of our customers are having around their boardroom. So let's think differently about traditional access control architecture. Traditionally, you have an access control server at every single location, at every single site, even if local monitoring isn't required. This can be very time consuming, drum up the total cost of ownership, whereas we think a better approach exists by deploying a ruggedized access control module, an access control appliance that can connect to field devices and then connect back to the access manager and directory or the servers back wherever that is on site or in the cloud. This is less expensive to update and to maintain, and also manages a multitude of different industry standard wireless locks, electronic locks, and access control modules in the field. Let's also think differently about centralizing. Now, integrating systems that were never designed to work together, we don't think that's the best approach forward. Integration means additional deployment, additional infrastructure to build, and the only thing more expensive than building an integration is maintaining that integration. But we think a better approach exists today, and it's migrating to an open and scalable, unified approach to managing access control that is less expensive because you're dematerializing, using less infrastructure, and that reduces your overall total cost of ownership. So less to maintain and less to interact with. So to sum everything up, some of the reasons why we think Synergis is unique, it's that open, flexible, and scalable approach where you can choose from a multitude of different industry standard controllers, wireless locks, and electronic locks out there. The unified experience, being equipped to respond to a threat when moments matter through a unified approach as opposed to working with different standalone systems that were never designed to work together. The clear migration path, and the ability to own and deploy the way you want, whether that's to the cloud or whether that's perpetually and on premises. Thanks. Hi, let's go through a Security Center Synergis demo overview. So we'll jump into the monitoring task on your home screen here. And first what we're going to do is start to monitor an entity. So we're going to choose the door. So we're going to select the door from the column. We're going to select the door that we're currently monitoring, so the door station that you're currently at. And now I'm actively monitoring this entity. So every single event that I get associated with this door appears line by line, which is your traditional access control view. The way our customers like to view it is to use that hybrid view. So every time we get a door event associated with this door, we get the cardholder profile, we get the associated video because we've bonded, we've configured that door to that camera. So we've bonded those two entities together. Now, in the event of an unexpected event occurs, like say a lockdown, we can trigger that lockdown by clicking on the threat level management icon. Now we have, we're under lockdown event here, so we can see the visual layer that's telling us that we have this current threat level. And what we've configured the threat level to do is actually lock everyone who traditionally had access to that door out. And so Jim Smiley, you'll see that he has insufficient privileges for just this short duration until we can neutralize the threat. Now let's fast forward and neutralize that threat. Click on none. So we get rid of that threat level and we resume to regular business activity. Jim can finally access the doors that he traditionally had access to. Now, one of the bigger advantages that we have with a unified experience is that reports bring both video and access control together. So if we want to jump from this event, we will right-click and click Investigate, and we're going to investigate on cardholder activities. So I'm telling the system to bring me up every single event associated with Jim Smiley for this specific day. Let's take the last day. Now, traditionally, again, in an access control only system, we'll only get the events associated to that cardholder profile. And then if we want to get a bigger picture, we'd have to go to the video terminal and pull out that, look for that timestamp, say, okay, which camera was it at, and then pull that out that way. So what we're going to do is quickly double-click some of these events, and we right away get the associated video at that specific time. Now, let's take it one step further and run a quick report. So as you're aware, in Security Center 5.7, we've gone one step further to helping our consumers consume these reports. So I'm going to jump back into public tasks that we've created. Now, this is just a quick door forced open report that you traditionally see in an access control environment. So if I'm working on access control and I want to pull a report of how many door forced opens that I received in the past day or so, I can generate that report like you see here. But what we've done is we made it simpler for operators to consume this information. Now, traditionally, if you want to get more context behind what's going on around your doors, you'd have to pull the report into Excel, manipulate the data so you can get the information you need to make an informed decision. So we've eliminated that with the new option made available to visualize the door entity. And so we've looked at door forced opens for 5 or so doors in our environment, and you'll clearly see that one door is an outlier compared to the other doors that are not getting as many door forced open events. Now, what can this mean for your customer? It could mean that perhaps this door here is not perfectly aligned with the frame of the door, and as a result, people are leaning up against the door, triggering a door forced open event because the contact sensors assume that the door is closed, but in reality it isn't. So that customer is able to neutralize that threat before it becomes an issue. Now let's take that access control demo up a notch. Let's show how you'd enroll a visitor into Security Center Synergis. So we'll go into our visitor management task located on your home screen. And notice at the bottom left-hand side of the screen we have a check-in, check-out process. So we'll check in a visitor. Let's call him Derek. Add a quick photo. And we're going to add a credential. What we'll do is an automatic entry. We'll ensure that we've selected the right door that we're going to connect with. And right away I'm going to use my mobile phone, my mobile credential that I received from Connect 18. I'll quickly gesture. And now I've taken that credential and I've loaded into my visitor management, my visitor profile. So we'll click Save and Close. And there, Derek is part of the, has access to all the doors that visitors have access to on premises. And now, as we jump into the monitoring pane, Derek will be able to get the access he needs. Access granted, all is good. And once Derek finishes with his visit at the organization, he'll come back to the reception, we'll just click on Derek's face, and we'll click Checkout. Are we sure? Yes, we want to ensure that Derek is checked out. He no longer has access. And of course, if Derek tries to get back into the premises after he's been checked out, he won't be able to get that access. As we see, we have an unassigned credential.